Before I go any further in this video, make sure that you take time to say a prayer, say multiple prayers for the families of the children in the Texas shooting. That's something that, as a parent, I cannot imagine what would go through my head. I don't know. I have no idea how I would feel in the midst of finding out that this has happened at my kid's school. Excuse me. I have 5 kids, and every one of them in school, and I just can't imagine hearing that there's been a shooting at their school and not knowing what's going on and not being able to really do anything. Just make sure you say prayers for these families, because on top of not knowing how I would feel in that situation, you know, I can't imagine how these parents feel that just lost a child because of this lunatic. It's sort of even hard to speak on, really. I mean, without going straight into talking about the guy. And, you know, it ain't about the guy. It is about the guy, but I just don't know how I'd feel. I mean, I don't, you know, and there's nothing that I can do or think or try to place myself in these parents' situation, you know, to try to understand, because I'll never understand unless I'm put in that situation. With that being said, the first thing these politicians did was make this about gun control. And it's not about gun control, because criminals don't care about gun control. Criminals don't care about laws. And so, you know, someone that's going to go and do something that's so horrific, he don't care about gun control. If someone sets out to do this or something like that, or to use a weapon in any type of violent way other than self-defense, they don't care about your gun laws. Gun laws wouldn't have protected these kids. And what needs to happen is all this money that we send to these other countries that we don't take care of our vets with, or we don't take care of our homeless people with, but we send billions and billions of dollars to other countries. Our schools should have that money implemented into their security. Both my kids' schools, there's a deputy there. One deputy. And I would like to think he would react in a manner that would prevent this from happening at our school, but you just really don't know. I mean, you just don't. You have no idea how that would happen. You would have no idea how that would go down. And like I said, I can't put myself in these parents' situation, or in their shoes. I mean, because there's no way that I can try to make myself feel, to try to understand how these parents feel. All that I can do is continue to pray for their families and their healing. And it just, you would think that in a time like this, these politicians, instead of going straight to a press conference about gun control, you know, our president would have been on his way to Texas. Or all these politicians that are speaking up against the guns. The guns is not what did this. Some crazy lunatic teenager set out to hurt people, and that was that's it. He set out to hurt people. He set out to hurt kids. Why? I don't know, and we probably won't know that. But they talk about mental illness. They talk about guns. They talk about school security at the school. A combination of things would have prevented this. But when you start taking away guns, you put more people at risk. You put more innocent people at risk. And I don't really even know what to say, because I don't want to make this about gun control. This video, I don't want to take away from what happened in Texas. Let me say it that way, by talking about the gun control thing. But I saw I guess it was a tweet. I don't know. I think I saw it on Instagram, but I think it was a tweet that somebody reposted that said if Biden's kids had been going to this school, this wouldn't have happened. You're right, because they would have had plenty of security at their school. And that goes for any of these big politicians. These kids go to school where there's all kinds of security, where they don't have to fear these things. I don't care how big your town is. I don't care how big a city you live in. I don't care if you live in a small city. Your school should have plenty of security to prevent these things from happening, and to keep these kind of kids and people from walking in that school. I've thought about this for 3 days, about these parents and tried to understand, or bring myself to understand how these parents feel, and I just can't. And there's no way that I will. But making it a political issue right off the bat, which they've been pushing gun control for years, and the first thing out of Biden's mouth was about taking guns and gun bans, and that's not going to stop anything bad from happening. That's going to stop people from protecting themselves, from protecting their kids. And because, like I said, you're criminals. A kid like this, if that's what he wanted to do, he'd have found a way to get hold of a gun to do what he did. The fact that the guns were purchased legally has nothing to do with whether it happened or not, because the kid would have found a way to do what he did. Just the only thing he can be thankful for is the Border Patrol agent that got there before the police and put himself in the situation and put himself in harm's way to try to stop these kids, and be thankful for the teachers, and that the 2 teachers that lost their life trying to protect students. There's just nothing. It's so hard to even speak on it, because the only thing I can say is it shouldn't have happened. And I wish that had never happened. But when you start taking guns away, you take away people's way of protection. When you start banning weapons, you take people's way of protection away. Because when you got a school that's got gun-free zone posted all over it, then people know there's no one else there to defend those kids except for maybe the SRO. And usually that's only one in every school. So, and then on top of that, Obama says that, and this was the day that this all happened, that we should take time to remember George Floyd, because it's been 2 years since he was killed by a police officer, or under the knees of a police officer, is what he said. Well, Barack Obama's a piece of shit. And to even bring up that crackhead criminal's name during all this, he needs to be taken off social media. And he needs to sit back and shut his mouth and stop speaking. These people that shoot schools up, you can say it's because of bullying. You could say it's, I don't care, they got a bad home life, mama didn't hug them enough. You could say it's whatever you want to say. People get bullied all over the country, everywhere. Every school's got a bully. Every school's got a kid that gets bullied. And schools don't get shot up. This kid that did these things, you could say mental illness, you could say he had a bad home life and a fatherless home life. And yeah, I agree 100%. These boys that are being raised in homes with nothing but their mother, without a father figure, that probably does make it hard on a boy growing up. And you need a father there to teach you to be a man, and to teach you how to deal with certain situations like bullies, or just whatever. I mean, whatever you can think of. You definitely need a father in a house where there's men. But taking guns away from innocent people that are only trying to most people only have their guns to protect themselves. Some people only have guns they hunt with. They don't have other weapons. That's not going to do anything but make criminals do more bad things. But anyway, I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying, and I hope you understand that by no means by me talking about the gun control thing am I trying to take away from what happened to these poor kids and these families, because my heart is broken for these families. And I have said multiple prayers in hopes that it will help with the healing of these people's hearts, because I cannot imagine what that must feel like. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Anyway, let me know in the comments, guys, if you agree. Let me know how you feel about the whole situation. And I'll hurt you guys in the next one.